Good morning, children of God. Why bother to live an unhappy life? Joy is the name of the game. Be happy. Be happy. One of the ways you can be happy is to know who you are and how you work. And one of the ways we work is we stand and join together and sing in the silence. O loving Father, Mother God, in this moment, we acknowledge your presence moving in and through us. This day, we choose to be open and receptive and responsive to your instruction and to your guidance this day. We are grateful for the opportunity to come together, to worship, to sing, and to pray in the name, in the nature, and in the power of the Christ. Amen.
Today's daily word is included, and Dick will read the daily word.
Good morning. Today's daily word lesson is included for Sunday, February 16th, 2014. I am an essential part of creation. As part of God's creation, I am never alone. Divine life lives in me, and I am one with all that is. My divine essence calls me to participate in life by using the talents and gifts God has given me. It is my sacred responsibility to bring them forward. I listen to my heart. What is mine to express? I gear up with tools to make a start. I leave behind whatever has blocked me in the past. God has entrusted me with gifts that need to be expressed, and I express them. By allowing my talents to blossom, I am an active participant in life. Included in the plan of creation, I bless my oneness with others and joyously share my gifts. For all who are led by the Spirit of God are children of God. For you did not receive a spirit of slavery to fall back in fear. Romans 8, verses 14 through 15.
One of the ways that we learn how to be of service is remembering who we are. And one of the ways that we remember who we are is regularly state the truth of us. Let's take our affirmation together. I am a child of the living God. I have within me the all-creating power of the Christ. It radiates from me and blesses all whom I contact. I am now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I am now in the presence. Let's rest and let's sing together, I believe. I believe. I breathe. It is the breath of life. I trust. With each breath I take, I trust that that which I need is in this moment given, and as I exhale, that which no longer serves me gently drifts away. I have faith. In this moment. I know the truth of me. In this moment, I affirm my oneness. Gently and easily, as I rest and still my body, I quiet my mind. All those thoughts and feelings of what I should have done before this moment, gently set aside. Those thoughts and feelings of what I have yet to do this day, I allow to rest. And I move into that place in consciousness that Jesus called our inner closet, our secret place. Charles Fillmore taught that for him, that secret place was right behind his heart. So that with each thought he became heart-centered. With each breath, I breathe into my heart. As I do so, each and every cell of my being responds. In this moment, I know peace, this moment, I know love. Here, in the stillness, in the silence, answers come. Perhaps in song, or feeling, or word, regardless, that which I need in this moment, freely given. This day, I reach out and claim these gifts, knowing they come to me wrapped in love. I embrace them. I immerse my being in them. Every cell responds. I am revitalized. I am re-energized. I am grateful. For everything in my life, every experience has brought me to this moment, right here, right now. I am blessed. This day, I choose to remember that I am a channel through which good flows into my world. This day, I open that channel, and that which has come to me I freely loose, knowing there is no lack nor limitation. From me, through me, into this place. Joining together with other thought of like mind, I am blessed. I choose to be a blessing. The flow continues through me, from me, into our community, wherever that may be. Touching each and every one of God's children. I am blessed. Across our state, reaching out to those who have asked us to pray with them. Those in transition. Those who need healing. In this moment, prayer is answered. I am blessed. Across our country, touching each and every one of God's children. Regardless of the appearance, I am there. Around our world, touching each and every one of God's children. It matters not whether they know it or not, or even believe it is the truth, that we share this day our oneness. We know and affirm that we are never separate one from the other. And somewhere, someone in this moment is saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. For that which I need is freely given. I receive it, I accept it, I claim it this day. I am blessed and I am grateful, and that gratitude swells up and returns to you. The circle is complete. I breathe it. I live in it and rest for one holy moment. And knowing there is more yet for me to do this day, holding to this experience we have shared, gently, easily, effortlessly, I bring my attention back to this now, to this place, to this when. And from my heart, I join with you and pray as Jesus, our elder brother, has taught us when he said, as for you, pray therefore in this manner. So if you had a spiration, where would it be and what would it look like? And today we're going to talk about two spirations. The first, inspiration. I'm looking for ideas, yes, to flow to me. And inspiration is half the equation. It's only part of the process. And as much as I would love inspiration to show up in my world, and I could sit and enjoy and go, oh. Unfortunately, there's another spiration that is required to bring the inspiration into manifestation. Get enough shuns in there? There we go. Just saying. And that one's perspiration. As much as I want things to show up in my world, and they will, there is a requirement of activity on my part. Not just sitting around waiting for stuff to happen, but activity that brings into manifestation that which I desire. It is God's desire to give you the keys to the kingdom. And you say, no, I'm good. What? Isn't that what we want to do sometimes? Right? But there's a couple of parts to it. You have to think about it from this way. It goes wrong. I have a question, and this one came up this week. See, I told you I'd use them when I get them. And it starts like this. Why should I read the Bible? And I will tell you, those in this room and for those who are watching and those I hold in spirit, this is not a club to beat somebody about the head. And a lot of people have felt that this book and the words in it have been clubs to beat them about the head and shoulders based on their behavior. And that's not what this book is about at all. So if you know somebody that thinks that this book is a hammer, you need to bring them to church and say, not here. Not in this building. Not in this place. Because it doesn't matter who you are in the moment. It doesn't matter what you're showing up in the world and what you're showing to the world. That's transitory. This is the blueprint of your soul. You're the builder. So why should I read that? So that you get this kind of stuff. Because there are a lot of people who came before you who give you hints on how to make things work. And this one comes from the Psalms. 127th. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain who build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchmen stay awake in vain. Back to inspiration. It's got to come from here, in spiritus, inside. It's an inside-out game. And that's the whole point. And that's why you read this, by the way. The other reason you read it, hopefully, is that each time something shows up in your life and you need that inspiration, there's a tool. It's not the only tool, But it's one. Our library is another tool. A quick question. How many of you have gone to your personal home library when something was trouble, you picked a book off the shelf, opened it up at random, and found the answer? It happens all the time, and we still don't believe it. Oh, no, that was just coincidence. No. You asked, yes? Ask. And then the perspiration part. Got my rusty dusty out of the recliner, into the library, picked the book, opened the page, and read it. Closed the book, put it back, went back and sat. No. No, and the activity. There's the answer. Okay, now I can take the next step to solving whatever challenge shows up in my life. They're mine. I own them. Each one that comes up, I own it. I didn't earn it. Watch this. I didn't earn it. I didn't think about it to bring it into expression. God is not punishing me. This is not a test. Etc., etc., etc. Just is in the moment. It's the thoughts in the moment. So the inspiration I need is, how do I change my thinking? What is it that I'm holding on to that continues to bring this result, this expression into my world? Why do I keep seeing such giant putzes in politics? That's something here. It happens to be true, just for me, right? But there's something about that I need to rethink. I heard this the other day and I went, oh man, we really need to work on this. A politician is someone you would vote to represent you that you would not have in your home as a babysitter. How sad is that? So there's a trust in there. I went back to this song today. So that word trust comes in. So something's going on in me, because it's my stuff, about trust. Where am I placing it that seems to bring about this experience? And oh, by the way, this is not new. Spend some time in Job, speaking of reading the Bible. You're in really good company when you think these kinds of things, but we're in the process of shifting out of that way of thinking. I have a lot of fun with this one. And it's just how Rob's head works. And I just tell you this just because that's the way it goes. Assuming our scientific brethren are correct, that mankind, as we know it, took millions of years to develop, kind of liming up out of this slime of the sea, whatever story you want to buy this week. Okay? It took all of that time to get to this thought. All that time to get to this thought. Thou shalt have no other God before me. About 7,000, 8,000 years ago, that thought. Then brought into manifestation. Not easily. A lot of fighting going on. Speaking of my book, I just kind of love it. 40 years I wander through the desert. I cross into the promised land. What's the first thing we do? Oh, let's have a war. What? God told me. And Joshua fought the battle of Jericho. What's up with that? There must be something behind it that I don't yet understand. What did Jericho represent? What did the 40 years wandering in the desert represent? Has to be more than just wandering. I mean, look on a map. A dog with a note in his mouth could have found the promised land in a couple of weeks. And Moses wandered around for 40 years. So obviously there needs to be more to the story than that. So we talk about that. 2 generations. 2 generations of old, limited thinking needed to be dissolved in order to make a shift in consciousness to take the next step. And it took a gazillion years, I don't know how many, to get just to that thought. And then it takes, if I remember my numbers correctly, something like 52 generations before the next guy comes on, about 2,000 years ago, and said, boy, the first 10 are great, here's 2 more. Love one another, even as I have loved you. You and I are one. So that's the message that Jesus brought. These are the 2. You and I are one. God and I are one. I don't do the work. God within me does the work. And that you and I are one. And love one another, even as I have loved you. That's, if you synthesize it all. But it took another great period of time just to get to that thought. And slowly but surely, we're starting to actually bring it into expression and bring it into experience. And we're getting better at it all the time. And when we all collectively live the 10 plus the 2, we get a much different outcome. That's all. That's in there, by the way. Just saying, in case you need a map. And for me, what part of the thing I'm working on for me is coming to that point that Jesus understood so well that I'm still struggling with for me personally. And it goes like this: render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. So the thoughts, the ideas that are materialistic in nature, give that to that side of me. It's just part of who I am. But I don't need to panic about it. Render unto God those things which are God's. In other words, the spiritual side of me, I got that, starting to. And I need to recognize that's it. And if I stopped there, I'd probably be okay, but I'd be okay like the rest of the world, and I would have missed the most important part. And that is that the Christ said this: render unto me that which is mine. And that's where I'm playing right now. Render unto me that which is mine. What does that mean? It means I need to honor the truth of who I am. I need to recognize my divinity. I need inspiration to do that. Sometimes I just need to change my language. I don't know why this came up, but it did. It's something I've been thinking about, and I got a couple of minutes, and besides I have the microphone, so I can say anything I want. But there are 2 words. I don't know why they came up, and I don't even know if they apply in this room, but they apply somewhere. But there's 2 words that I am removing from my vocabulary. The first is the word invalid. There is no one on this planet that is invalid. No one. I will no longer see that. Period. Because every person has validation. They have within them the Christ. Now they may be showing the world challenges. I got that. But from here, the truth is. The second one is bedridden. I'm getting rid of that one too. Bedridden is now gurney braces in the hallways. I just want to eliminate those two out of my vocabulary because they paint a picture that isn't true. It may be an experience. That someone is going through. I got that. But that's not the truth of who they are. That's just a current experience. It's transitory in nature. We know that. Making a transition. Our good friend Don Dempsey is going through that right now. And our prayers are with Shirley and her family as they go through this with him. Both those words, by the way, implied, and I think maybe that's where it came up in my thinking. Neither are true about Don. He is not invalid, and he is not bedridden. As concepts, as ideas. Those ideas. So if you have a new word that paints a picture, be glad to hear it. I don't know what that word is yet. It goes back to rendering unto me, that was just my mind, Christ being the idea of ideal man. What you look like in perfection, yeah? I need to honor that. In me, as well as in everybody else. So that when these other things show up, I can go, breathe, Rod. And if you were holding your breath, breathe. Because anytime a new idea shows up, we go. It just seems to be part of our process. And I can breathe, and then I can put to work the new idea and new thought into my world. That book's got a lot of great stuff in it. I got to tell you, so does Tom Clancy. And I just heard somebody say, are you equating the works of Tom Clancy to the Bible? Yeah, I am, in this sense. His characters, many of them, are the same characters, aspects of being that you and I possess. Those of honor, trustworthiness, yeah? And the reverse side. Not so honest, not so trustworthy. Just a story about aspects of being. It's just a story about aspects of being. But when I'm going to build, I want to come from that inspiration part of me. That's what prayer is all about, for those you want to know. I breathe, and I breathe in what I need, in spiritus. And then I need to take the steps that go with it. That's the perspiration, the second spiration. I take the steps. Things happen, and I don't know why, and maybe my doctor will tell me if I get around to asking the question, hopefully I will, but I take my blood pressure every day. Generally around the same time of the day. And yesterday, on my own volition, I took 2 walks. And then after dinner, we went over to the Eagles for a little bit and danced. And so I was a little late taking my blood pressure. It was the closest to normal that it's been in 2 months. Now, by normal understanding, it's what they say, and I just smile and go, ah. And it's a target number, and I got that. But it's been up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down, right? So Rob's a little slower than others. By golly, you mean if you actually take the time to be active, physical, that your blood pressure is going to maintain? Yeah, fool. That's what's going on in here, right? And each is a little bit different. I just share that with you because stuff will show up in your life That's the inspiration. You asked, and it'll show up. Okay. What are you going to do about it? That's the perspiration part. Those are the godfather and godmother, if you will, of manifestation. Bring the thought and the action together so that you can honor the truth of who you are. And it begins with this. Breathe. Paint a picture of you. I love you. Together? I love you. Hold the picture. I bless you. Together? I bless you. Because I can love, because I bless, I can appreciate. I appreciate you. Together? I appreciate you. Breathe. Looked past the appearance to the truth. I behold the Christ. Together? I behold the Christ. From that thought begins inspiration. Now I add the perspiration. Namaste.
Thank you for listening. Please feel free to pass this message along to your friends and family. You can obtain additional audio tapes or CDs by visiting our website or by calling our office at 541-772-6902. We invite you to join us in prayer. We know that prayer works, and now you can send your prayer request to our prayer team here at Christ Unity Church by using the form on our website. The activities, programs, and services of this ministry are presented on a love offering basis. All gifts, regardless of size, are gratefully accepted. You may participate either by sending your gift to Christ Unity Church, 540 North Holly Street, Medford, Oregon, 97501, or by visiting us on the internet at www.unitymedford.org.